until your partner's gone, because I need to ask you some questions. I don't want him chipping in, okay?
That's understandable.
I reckon he's out of earshot. Right.
Yeah.
Chef Officer Johnson, tell us exactly what happened once you pulled up next to the suspect. What did your partner do?
Honestly, by the time I was able to regain view of my partner, he already had the suspect cuffed, and I was right next to the Dodge Charger back at the farm. That was when I finally regained eyesight with my partner.
Okay, but you claim you were driving the vehicle. Is that correct?
Yes, I was driving the vehicle.
Right, okay, so if you were driving the vehicle and you pulled up next to this woman here, and how far did your partner chase her?
Do you know where the on-ramp is, heading back to Parker Tunnel where the Stubbs one is, right? The vehicle stopped then when she bailed out. The driver wasn't in the vehicle when she bailed out. When the vehicle stopped, that's when she bailed. She hopped over the ledge of the exit and jumped down, and my partner immediately hopped out and jumped over that and chased after her. And at that point, I flew the vehicle in reverse and I backed up back to the bottom of the ramp. Because at the time when we were still chasing the guy, a body flew out of the car or whatever, and I was checking that body real quick, just to double check and everything, and then I proceeded to take it over to the other side of the thing. Well, I asked my partner if he got the suspect or not. Basically, it was just a huge cluster fail. It really was.
Don't you guys
Okay.
position?
From what I can see, Officer, what's his name?
Hi, Sarge.
Standing next to me, has done nothing wrong, but still I want to press charges on Officer Wood for unlawful force. Yeah, but I can't speak. I'm sorry, officer.
Force.
Yeah, unlawful use of force.
Right. Okay. All right. Traffic Officer Johnson, are there any charges that need to be brought up against this suspect at all?
Well, at most, I would say resisting arrest or something, or felony evading, since as soon as the vehicle stopped, or well, evading.
I did not
not resisting. I'm miswording. More like evading, in my opinion. Because as soon as the vehicle stopped, the driver was in the car and the vehicle stopped. She immediately hopped out and she gunned it out, running on foot, and immediately jumped over right into the forest.
If you were in the car with a crazy driver.
The driver wasn't even in the car. The driver wasn't even in the car when you hopped out. That's the thing. What I would do, what I would do is that when I get out of the car, I would put my hands up for the police so that they know that, hey, I don't want to be involved any further. Running away makes you look extremely suspicious. I can understand if you're running away from fear, but your best thing to do is to put your hands up so that the police know you want no longer you give up any more involvement into the incident.
What did you just say?
Oh my god. Anyways, as I was saying, I can understand why you would possibly run, but then again, the wiser idea, if you didn't want involved, is as soon as you hop out, you immediately put your hands up for the police and comply, so that we can conduct our investigation, and we could find out that you weren't involved.
If I've jumped out of that man's car because he's a reckless driver, and he's already ran someone over and rammed your car, do you think I would just stand where I was standing?
Well, here's the thing. When you hopped out of the car, the vehicle was stopped, and the driver's not in the car. I believe while he was driving, because the body that we found, I believe that while he was driving, he hopped out of the car because the body flew away like he just jumped out of the car or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going off from what the evidence from my scene suggested.
But that's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with me that he jumped out of the vehicle.
Okay, well then at the time
I jumped out to avoid his driving.
Okay, well you avoided his driving after he hopped out of the car and the vehicle was stopped. At that point, you should have gotten out of the car, put your hands up for the police, and we would have came over, cuffed you, investigated the incident, and running away made you look extremely suspicious and guilty of something. Because you gotta understand, guy hit our car.
She had nothing on it.
Okay. You guys saying Guy rammed our car, hit someone, and sped off, and then I have you hopping out.
It's not you.
No, just let me speak
It's
here,
not
okay?
you. I just don't
I
like
know.
the fact that
I know
your
what James
partner
did was
has
stuff.
randomly restrained me straight up without asking me a question, and then forcefully dragged me to his car when he has no right to do so.
Okay, well just let me speak here, don't interrupt.
I know, look.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Corporal.
listen. The other traffic officer is going to be brought up for charges about that. Like, that's a given, that's set in stone now. But the thing is, we need to discuss your charges, possible evading arrest. You can just plead guilty to that now and probably end up with a ticket, quite a small ticket at that. And, you know, your charges against the other officer are still going to be, you know, they still exist, they're still a thing. You haven't disqualified them. Okay?
But I'm not gonna prove guilty because I'm not guilty.
Right. Okay. So, So why did you run away from the vehicle when the vehicle was stopped and the driver was apprehended?
Because when I jumped out of the vehicle, the man was still in the vehicle. I did not look back to see if the vehicle had stopped. I got to safety by running behind a tree, so if he was to ram to me, he'd bash into the tree and not me.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Corporal, may I chime in here for a second?
Okay.
When she bailed out of the car, the vehicle was stopped on the exit, and when we pulled up, the driver was not in it. I believe he was the body that ragdolled around back by the exit. But by the time she hopped out, the vehicle was stopped.
Right.
The driver was not in the vehicle. What she should have done is put her hands up, but instead she ran away. She literally jumped over the railing of the exit ramp and ran to the forest. The driver was not in the vehicle,
Right.
and the vehicle was not moving when she hopped out.
I haven't jumped over any railing.
Railing or rather hit the concrete
I jumped out on the side of the road, and right next to the side of the road was grass and trees. It's called a forest, so I ran into it to get behind a tree, so I did not get ran over by that maniac.
But the maniac was out of the car when you jumped out. The maniac was not in the vehicle, and the vehicle was stopped, so you can't kind of use that argument.
Ask how I'm supposed to know that? How am I
Because
supposed to know that?
you were in the car sitting right next to the maniac. How are you just not going to notice that a random big guy is not in the car with you?
Listen. No, because I wasn't. No, he jumped out. I'm not sure if he did jump out, to be honest. But I jumped out first because I knew that I didn't want to be in the car with a maniac, right? So I jumped out and got behind a tree.
Okay.
Nor did I look back to have a look if he had jumped out the car. So I did not know if he was out of the car. I thought he was still driving.
So what you're telling me is that the maniac is that you jumped out of the car first?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so then explain to me, literally seconds after you jumped out, we pulled up and the car was empty. Because there's no way he would have gotten out with us not seeing him, so please explain that to me. How is it that
Let's put it this way,
when you...
right?
That doesn't make any sense.
I jumped out at the bottom of the ramp, right? I jumped out at the bottom of that ramp. It goes up, like, right at the flat road, it goes, like, flat, and then it arches up, right? I jumped out on that flat bit there, because I didn't want to be in the car with him, and then I saw that car carry on up, and unless it rolled back down, then I'm not sure, because I did not see him jump out.
When I saw you hop out, you were in the mid part of the ramp, the middle part of the, what the hell? You're in the middle part of the ramp. Oh, hi, James.
Are you sure that wasn't the other person?
I'm positive.
In the car?
I'm positive. Who's shooting?
Well, I definitely remember that I jumped out at the bottom.
That's not what I've seen. I'm sure my partner can agree.
Your partner can agree all he wants, but it's not going to change anything that I know that I jumped out at the bottom.
Well,
I got a question. You were saying you were jogging in the forest. Why didn't you saying you were escaping from a man? If you're telling us a different story right now.
Let's be honest here. Let's be honest here.
I think you will involved.
Situation.
Traffic officer.
Well, I was not
Let
involved.
have his say.
right, if you were in the same situation that I'm in right now, right, and an officer randomly comes up to you, giving you no warning, randomly restrains you when I have no idea why I'm being restrained, and then he just drags me with no right of doing so to his car, would you really be telling the truth to him when he could be asking you any sort of question, working out anything, right? He could even be tracing you back to your address for all I know, right?
Okay, so...
Because I was scared as hell back then, right?
Okay, hold on.
Because you wrongfully... No, let me talk. I let you talk, so you let me talk. You wrongfully arrested me, and you wrongfully dragged me when I was complying, and you dragged me out. You just dragged me straight to your car in the middle of a road. You dragged me into the middle of a road with no road stops, right? Next to your car. First of all, that's putting my life in danger. And honestly, if I was you, I'd be ashamed that you dragged me out.
Okay, so you've lied to us, because that lying to us makes you lose credibility here.
I think we... Okay, alright, listen. I think we can wrap this up. Okay, let's get down. Alright, miss, look, you're gonna get a small charge for evading arrest. You, Traffic Officer Wood, you're gonna get charged for unlawful use of force, okay?
Am I scot-free of charges, or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright.
Although, I'm just going to give you a verbal warning for driving through the trees with your...
Alright, that's fine, I understand. I'll be more careful next time.
I would like that Officer Eric Johnson is not off the hook. I'm taking full responsibility. That means he has no warnings or whatsoever.
No, I was driving like an idiot.
You can't do that. He's only getting...
You can't do that.
He's not even getting a ticket. It's not even going to go on his profile. I'm just...
It was my...
Okay, look.
I was taking...
Look, you're going to get a charge. He's only getting a verbal warning. He's not even getting a remark on his profile, okay? So I'm just going to issue you... I can't issue you a ticket. I can't issue you...
You're going to have to get a sergeant to do that, I believe.
Okay,
alright, well, I'm going to put a remark on your profile, alright?
Sure.
That's it.
Do you want...
Corporal,
do you want to give her a citation, or do you want me to?
I'll deal with it. You two can go back to
doing our lovely duties.
I got one question. Where's the sweater vest?
Is that a sergeant out there?
Let's go.
I got one question. Where's the sweater vest?
Así camina,